Today we are diving into one of the great RV debates. To part-time or to full-time? Which is better? Welcome back to the RV Shenanigans podcast. We're still in our new studio.
Still, I plan to stay here for a hot minute, okay?
Yeah, that would be a good idea. It was a lot of work to get this thing built and put together. So, yes, we're going to talk about part-time versus full-time, and we are one of the few RVers out there that can actually speak to both.
I really didn't think 3 years ago I'd be saying that sentence.
So in case you're new, we talked about this a lot on the last episode because we pretty much just went to part-time about, 6 months ago-ish now. So we full-time in our Alliance Valor 44V14, big toy hauler fifth wheel.
Yes.
We full-time for almost a little over 3 years.
Right.
A lot of it in that.
Yeah.
And then we had a normal fifth wheel prior to that. And then we've part-time now in a sub 30-foot Alliance Delta 252RL, which is a bumper pull travel trailer. So we have experience not only in most of the towable market. I'm not doing a teardrop or a pop-up. So
Please don't make me do a teardrop or a pop-up with him.
I am a teardrop. I am shaped like it the whole 9 yards, except for that skinny part. I'm not that. And there's a lot of differences. There's a lot of things that you should take into account. There's things that when we went part-time, we went, wow, we have so much room. And then somehow we ran out of certain types of room.
It was strange.
And more of other types of room, which is going to be dependent based on your RV.
Yeah.
But we're going to dive right into it. And we're going to start with my iPad locking up.
Fun times for all of us.
So, and we're not going to touch base on this too much, but like we said, we did start full-time and went part-time. So that journey was a little bit different because if you want more detail, listen to the last podcast that was out last week. It was our back from hiatus break. We kind of filled everybody in what's going on, but it wasn't, we chose to buy a home base.
We did.
And we downsized because we didn't feel like we had the need for as large of an RV if we weren't going to be living in it.
Right.
So when we were picking out our Delta, we actually looked around. We knew we wanted to stick with Alliance because we were super happy with the company as a whole, customer service. We didn't have a reason to not buy an Alliance unless they just didn't have a floor plan we liked.
Right. And I wanted something under 32 feet.
I wanted, and realistically, we said 30 feet. So we're officially 29 feet, 10 inches.
That's right. Mission accomplished.
By 2 inches. And when we went and were looking for it, we had to keep telling ourselves,
Yes.
we're not living in it. Stop looking at it that way.
Well, but that's how we'd looked at things for so long because even before we bought our first RV, that was how we looked at it was, where does everything all those full-time necessities, where do all those go? So this was a big change of pace and a welcome change of pace.
Very important where I put my smoker. By the way, I will still have one. It's just going to go in the truck.
Anyways, as they say.
So as a whole, we kind of had to simplify our RV life, if that makes sense.
We did, but it worked out really well because when you have a smaller RV and less weight capacity, we also have a lot less stuff because we have the house to put all of our stuff in.
Yeah, and boy, did we somehow accumulate it. So with that, like I said, if you want to know more about our story, our journey, it's all over the main videos on the YouTube channel. Plus the last episode, we dove into that a little bit more. So let's just move into kind of the pros, if you may, I'm sorry, not the pros, but the challenges of full-time RVing.
Okay.
So if you had one challenge, what was that thing?
To me, the biggest challenge was the weather.
Okay.
For me, because like if it was
I'm
raining
going to
out,
disagree the biggest. I'm going to say the most annoying.
maybe for me and my convenience. Okay.
There it is.
So for me, and you asked me, not you, it was the weather because if it was, if it was hot, just trying to keep it cooled down. How do you operate in the kitchen with it being so hot, this and that? You got to keep the window shades like drawn. You don't want it too hot. And I'm a sunshine person. And then if it's raining, you taking the dogs outside and trying to get them in and out, getting their feet dried off and all that sort of stuff. We weathered an ice storm in one of the RVs.
Multiple.
True.
I have the the mark on my butt to prove it when I slipped down the stairs.
No joke. And again, it was a little bit of a safety issue trying to get us and the dogs up and down the stairs with that sort of thing going on. And if you want to know why we weathered those things, again, go back to the first video. It wasn't necessarily by choice.
No, we got stuck in Texas a lot more than we really intended on it, which was another factor in buying the house. But
yeah, for me, that was the biggest thing.
So for me, the biggest thing was, and this is a good thing and a bad thing. It's great from the perspective of owning a business and being in the content creation industry. Is that an industry?
Yeah.
I guess it's big enough now. It's an industry.
It's huge.
That we would get a lot of opportunities to go somewhere, or I would have something come up for the main channel, the podcast, or whatever, like going to industry day up in Elkhart or dealer open house, which only media get invited to, or dealers, and not being able to go because I essentially take her home away for her because she can't go.
Well, and we kind of made some arrangements for that where I would stay with somebody and then I'm having to take the dogs with me. So that it's not that you couldn't go, but it was really difficult to get you out the door and on the road.
Well, and not only that, but it took time and effort, and you had to pack up potentially a week or so worth of stuff for not only you, but the dogs to get out. So if you're looking at full timing, and I know we're focusing on the negatives right now, there's going to be a pros side to this, I promise.
There are plenty of pros too.
But, quite frankly, having two people that might have slightly different work schedules. So if you're retired, this doesn't matter. Go together, go everywhere, have fun. If you're not retired, this is very relevant.
Right.
And so, there were times that you couldn't go to things because you couldn't tow the RV because I couldn't go, or you had to fly down.
Exactly.
Kind of a thing. And there were times that we had to coordinate air travel in conjunction with RV travel. Like I headed to Florida for 2 years ago when we were down there for RV Unplugged Season 2 production, Tampa show, all of the things.
Yeah.
And you couldn't be gone for the full, 2 weeks or whatever it was. You could be gone for a lot of it, but not all of it. So you had to fly down and meet me once.
That's happened before. Even picking up the Valor, things got a little bit behind schedule, and I had to be at work one day, so I had to fly home to get to work, which left you driving a brand new rig home by yourself with the dogs.
Well, not only did I do that, but I also had to install all our safety stuff by myself at Elkhart Campground, like the backup camera, the TPMS systems and all that, so that I felt comfortable driving it all the way back.
Right.
So I think the other thing too is like maintenance. When you're living in it, if something were to break, I can't tell you how many times we had to move out of our RV. At least twice.
It's true. We really did.
And so if it were to go down, you're kind of high and dry. Now, some of the manufacturers, if you happen to be able to work with it, are starting to put in like little condos, apartments, whatever you want to call them. But for the most part, you're hoteling it, Airbnb-ing it, whatever your options are. We've spent many a night in the True by Hilton in Elkhart, our home away from home there for like 3 years.
Yes, and we've spent many a night with beloved family who would let us crash with them.
Yeah.
And mind you, and I know this was our decision, but it's also with the dogs every time. So we had to find pet-friendly hotels. We had to think about what the dogs were going to do, if we we were at a family member's house or whatnot, go to work, whatever.
So if depending on the season of life that you're actually in, that could be potentially something that you really want to pay attention to.
Right.
Is the ins and outs of traveling or having to move in and out of it, but that maintenance thing. And a little bit from the road too, like because you're constantly using it, like so many of these maintenance manuals for these things. I mean, at the end of the day, even though a lot of companies and alliances, one of them says they'll warranty it for full time, that just means they're going to back you up.
Right.
It doesn't necessarily mean that everything's designed for full time.
That's a good point.
And so, like some of these things like regular axles, you're supposed to grease those every 5,000 miles. Well, I mean, for us, that's not as often as it was before. And so you're having to do all of this maintenance work whilst on the road. So you're literally just in a campground.
Yeah.
And you have to jack your rig up to get the tire off to grease. Well, if you're going to repack the bearings, you do. Other than not, I don't like the little Dexter Easy Lube thing. I think just take the wheel off. But it's that's a big deal, and everybody in there has to get out while you jack up your trailer.
We did that several times. The dogs and I would have to go to the park or something so you could get something done.
Well, and I'll use an example. Some friends of ours were going to come down and see us in Texas, in Lantana specifically. And we were going to meet. Oh no, Waco. That's what it was. I'm sorry. We were meeting for a business meeting at a campground. We were looking at a rally site for them, and they were supposed to come down to Waco, and they're in a motorhome, and they had engine problems,
Right.
so and slide problems, and so they just were dead in the water.
Right.
And he's like, sorry. They pretty much just said, sorry, we can't make it, which sucked, but.
So having kind of your home and your recreation and your office and all of that in one is great in theory, and sometimes it works really well, but when it doesn't work, it puts a damper on everything.
Well, and I think something that's important to remember too, and we are just as guilty of this, is it's not all the pretty Instagram picture.
No, it's not.
And that's, I mean, there's moments where it absolutely is. Don't get me wrong. And
definitely.
and we're going to get into that in a second, but the pro side of it is vast as well. But just know that if I hear this one a lot, like, well, if my wife and I just hit the road, it'll fix the marriage, or we'll stop arguing.
That's like saying having kids will fix your marriage. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Or no money.
Yeah.
But it's not, I'm going to say this. If you get into the biggest motorhome vehicle you can get into, you are at most looking around 450 square feet at most, unless you're Todd and Sheila from Switch It Up with whatever size that thing is. They're like 7,000 square feet somehow with a helicopter pad. But with, us, we were in 425 and now we're in even less, but we're not living in that one.
That's right.
If you're arguing, it's going to get worse.
Yes.
Because you're on top of each other.
It's
and
true.
if you can't get along, like that was one of the things with our very first RV we struggled with, was I'd be on calls or working on a Saturday, and the living room was the kitchen, was my office, was all the things. So the only spot she could go to get away from me while I was on a call was the bedroom, and the only spot that's sitting there was to lay in bed. You don't really want to do that all the time, especially if you're just outside sweaty a little bit.
And then what do the dogs do? Do they come in there with me? Are they going to wrestle in the living room while he's trying to be on a work call? Those sorts of things. So trying to overlap some of that. So, but no, we never faced the who couldn't get along in a small space. Just for record, I know he started down that trajectory and then kind of veered on you. But no, it was just kind of the overlapping spaces that made different tasks hard.
Yeah. So with that, what are the perks, the bonuses, the buenos?
The buenos. Why do it? Why
And
on
not
earth
the
would you do
tacos.
this now that we just told you why not to?
Yeah.
So first of all, I would say a huge perk for me was meeting some of the most incredible people.
You can do that with part-time. Just less frequently.
Less frequently. I feel like we got to indulge a little bit more in that.
That I agree with.
Just the way that we did. So the people is a huge, huge bonus for me. What about you?
So I would say the knowing where you're like not really truly having to pack. Like there's something nice about it. And we said this kind of the first few trips we took were around horse shows. And so we would go, we'd be in our site in Texas because we always maintain a full-time site here. And we would pack up and head down to Waco or to Tyler or wherever else we were going for a horse show. And she would go get the horses. I would get there, get set up, typically be able to go to the grocery store and get back.
Yeah.
And so whenever she was there and got done unloading Stella, her jumping horse, I don't know why, jumping horse, the things that happen in my head.
I hope that you're watching this and not listening to it.
Yeah, you
because
got the visual of my hand doing a
the
jumping horse, boing, boing.
visual.
But knowing that everything was done, you could walk in and everything was exactly the same for the most part. And it was just working. And your stuff was where it was when you left it that morning and all that. The only difference is the trailer moved.
Right.
And it's cooled off and the dogs are content.
Yeah.
That is a huge perk.
I agree with that.
They always felt
Absolutely.
comfortable. Bailey, our chocolate lab, is terrified of her own shadow. Hunting dog.
Poor dog.
And when she gets really scared or startled, she barks. Not a lot. It's more of a kind of like how some people, when you scare them, they go, bah! That kind of a thing. As I just blew everyone's eardrums out.
Everybody's eardrums out.
It's one of those where it's like one or two barks and that's kind of it.
Yeah.
But for her, like in the new RV, she does that a little more frequently still because we're not spending as much time in it,
She's
obviously.
not convinced that that's her house yet.
Nope.
And so she's still a little unfamiliar
Well, it's not.
with
This
it.
is.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
the vacation house.
And
Just
she can
happens to have
hear
wheels.
more. She could hear whenever she was in the big RVs when we were full-timing and got kind of used to the noises. So now when we get into the RV on a part-time basis, she hears these things again and it kind of startles her.
So I would say that was a huge perk. I think there is something to the simplifying.
I think that we needed to simplify at that time. And so
Almost
it was
like a cleanse.
It was a big purge, and it was a good decision for us when we did that. Yeah. But there is something to that.
Yeah, it felt nice to kind of get everything out, look at it. Does this really, and when you're moving into an RV, you have to have some very serious conversations or looks inside of like, do I really need this?
And I'm going to be honest, I'm going to throw this little salt in the wound right here. Just, is there anybody that full-time RVs that doesn't have stuff stored somewhere?
Yeah, we've met people.
I don't, because I know a lot of people that full-time RV, but they always have something at a kid's house or a little storage unit or a little something.
No, Phil and Stacy don't have anything at
They don't have
Bree's
anything?
house. I don't think.
Okay. I'm going to ask
Now
them.
I'm going to ask. Yeah.
I'm going to ask them next
I
time.
think the only thing they do there is they go there for like, I know that their business is based out of there. And so they have mail and stuff. And then Phil had 50 amp put in because if you're going to go there and visit for the holidays, you might as well be comfortable.
Why not?
I mean, I'll be honest, we're looking at doing it at this house. And so, but I know that there are out there, but you're right. I mean, at least in the YouTube, Instagram world,
So even when you think about it, like
we had storage at my parents' house. We took over a closet upstairs.
we did.
Obviously, when we were moving, we had stuff everywhere. We had a lapse of like 2 months of nothing. So, any other positives?
Trying to think. No, that was a good one about just having all of your stuff with you all the time. Your office or your clothes or your this or your that.
Another bonus for that would be if you're on a travel day and you want to stop, whatever groceries you have is what you have. So you could stop and, again, if you're built like a toy hauler that has a generator on board or you've got maybe a big lithium solar package, we would just pull over and start and make some food.
Right. And we had the normal things we would have. So, okay.
Yeah, there was no big transition there. So we have been part-timing now for what, 5-6 months, something like that. So what are some of the things so far that you love about the part-time side of things?
So this is kind of
Being able to throw the RV in the back and not worry about it.
well, I mean, that kind of is that if the RV needs work or, something that I don't have to give up my home or get the dogs out or this or that in order for that to be accomplished. So I like not being able to throw it back there, but that it's not also the home.
Stored with, if Alliances, if you're listening, Joe, the team there, we store it with gentle love and care so you don't have to fix it.
It was not throwed, I promise.
It was pushed.
I don't know how to put this into words, but the simplicity of it. For me,
You've used simplicity in the full time, so you're going to have to
did.
explain it a little better.
To me, like pulling this up, tossing, a weekend or a week's worth of clothes into it, and it's more relaxing. It's more, I don't know how to explain it.
It feels like a vacation.
Yeah.
More
maybe
so
that's
than
it.
like when you live in it. Sometimes I made this comment in one of our videos at one point. When my office was in the toy hauler space, all you do is put a desk down, pull a few things out, and next thing you know, I'm full office mode, monitor everything. And we would, like, Tennessee's a really good example. So we spent about a week in Pigeon Forge, Gatlinburg, all of that stuff, Dollywood. And it was really easy when we went back to the RV when we were just going to rest for the afternoon because we're on vacation, AKA naps, to just go back there. I'm like, I'm just going to check a few emails. And then next thing you know, I've been sitting there for 3 hours and been working the whole time. It's like, okay.
And so, I agree. You'll hear that from full-timers and not alike, that they use it to each of their own, right? That my house is with me, my office is with me. Well, that can be a good thing or a bad thing.
Right.
So,
I would say the other side of that for me is like loading the RV. Like we had to make a lot of decisions on what we had to put in it when we were full-time. We had to make a lot of sacrifices for things that were on the road. Now we made some decisions. We're like, well, we're definitely going to use this, and then didn't use it once.
didn't use it once.
And then it got purged at some point, and something else took its place that we probably didn't use.
Okay.
But with this, it depends on the RV you're in, but storage is odd because like we have all the room in the world in that pass-through, and we can't fill it.
Right.
Because I've got like all our utilities are in bins, all that stuff that's on the one side.
Yeah.
And I have a generator on the other side now.
We have a significantly smaller RV, and we cannot put stuff in it. Like we can't fill the spaces.
We can.
We could.
We just don't have the stuff that we need in little trips.
Right, exactly. So
And there are some people, you were talking about clothes going in and out. There are some people shout out to Wes and Mickey Miller, that leave pretty much all of their stuff minus like medications in there. So he's got like RV stuff. And in his words, if he had to get out quick, all he's got to go do is turn it on, let the air thing fill it. They have a motorhome. Let the air chucks fill everything up, and they're out of there.
And one day when our RV lives in a little house of its own called a storage building of some sort, I may do that. But while it's back there, not yet.
Well, and I would say too that when we moved from the Valor into the house, our clothes situation is still very much so
minimal,
like in an RV. And so we don't have the clothes to do that. I mean, I had to go when we did was it the cruise? We took a trip recently.
It was the cruise.
And I ran out of underwear because I just don't own enough for a 7-day cruise.
I ran out of socks and had to buy more socks in Mexico.
Puerto Vallarta, shout out to that Walmart. It was actually nice. And it's cheaper.
It was.
Everything else is more expensive, but that was cheaper. Were you going to say something?
No.
Oh. So any other positives for the part-time side?
I feel more relaxed when we do it. Yeah, that's all.
I get excited to pull it up. I think that's some of it too. Like we're getting ready to pull it up here in a few days for another trip. And so like thinking about it, it's like, oh yeah, I see it every day. It's sitting, we have a little bit of acreage. We have the horses are here on property now. And so I can see it sitting in the back pasture around with a fence around it so the horses don't nibble on it anymore. And so knowing that we can go pull it up, or if I need to work on it, it's right there. And I would say, we talked a little bit about maintenance on the big rigs. This is another side where you talked about it from if it needs to go to a dealership and sit for a while, it can. Not a big deal.
Yeah.
Don't want it to,
no,
but it can. But the other side of this too is I don't have to worry so much about fixing stuff in the moment when it breaks because we're still moving. I can kind of just, as long as I can get back to the house, I can stop, get the tools I need because my full tool array is here now.
Right.
I can get the parts I need before I ever start. I don't have to jimmy rig it. I don't have to just, if you remember, we got a bullet size hole in our front cap going to Florida one year. And I squeezed a whole tube of silicone into it just because it was starting to rain.
Right.
And knowing that I can just get it home and kind of clean it, go from there. And from cleanliness perspective, I think this RV stays a lot cleaner than our old one does.
Yeah, I can see that.
But we clean it before we put it away every time, like a pretty deep clean. And then obviously if we're on a longer trip, we clean as we go because dogs are dogs. But all of those things, it's a lot more relaxing for me.
Good.
Because I don't feel this overwhelming urge like, well, we're getting there and I know you want to go do the fun things, but I have a laundry list of stuff I need to figure out. And Amazon. That's one of those weird things. Like I can't tell you how many times I go find nearest locker near me. And now it's just shipped to house. Thank you. And then it comes and then I do the thing. So I think there's two types of people and I'm not saying we'll never full-time again.
No.
But I don't know that I'll ever... is it considered full-timing if you're on the road most of the time but still own a home base?
All the questions. But I agree. We may be on the road more, but I think we'll always have a home base moving forward.
Right.
I think that giving up that home base was something we both thought was fine. And as it turns out, neither of us were as fine with that as we thought. Yeah.
So the big questions that I would tell you to kind of consider are you craving stability or freedom? And for us, we love freedom, but I think we prefer stability just a scooch more.
We appreciate some good stability.
Well, and it's not prohibiting us from traveling.
Exactly.
I would argue we're traveling more.
Based on the calendar, yep, we are.
So, and then just flat out, can you handle constant motion?
Yeah.
You know, I'm not saying every day. Everybody has their own pace. There's some people that every 2 or 3 days move. There's some people that sit for a full quarter or a year in a spot and then they move. I like Phil's mentality. Once I don't need the GPS around the town anymore, I know it's time to go, kind of a thing. If you're not retired, this one's pertinent. If you aren't, then do you have any remote work or location ties? Now, the bonus is that we can go visit family in an RV. So, like, if you've got kids that are scattered across the U.S. or anything else and it's hard to get everybody together, this could be amazing for you.
It sure could.
You could bounce between family members.
Right.
If your family's all in one area and you're leaving that area.
And that was kind of where we were. But also, like, when you're visiting family, you can visit them without having to stay with them with your RV. And that's kind of a really nice perk I like.
Okay. How important is space, routine, and I'm going to say access to community, but with a caveat. We'll come back to that last one. So just space and access.
So I think you and I actually did really well with less space inside.
Surprisingly well.
Surprisingly well. I miss the space outside. I love to be outside putzing. I want to pull weeds in the garden. I want to plant flowers.
And we appreciate, because I hate pulling weeds in gardens.
And so I enjoy being outside and just kind of working on those little things. And so I miss the outdoor space.
Of a permanent residence. Gotcha.
I did.
Let's say, because you're RVing, there's outside everywhere, but it's not yours.
Right. It's not yours.
Well, and I think too, for me, in conjunction with that, is the dogs have a backyard again. And so, yes, there's dog parks. No, that's not always a good thing.
Right.
Dog owners, for the most part, dog owners are amazing, but there's every once in a while that one. And one of my biggest pet peeves when it comes to dogs and dog parks is, oh, but my dog's friendly, as they take it off the leash. And what if my dog's not?
What if my dog has a traumatic past or any number of things?
Was a rescue and I'm just now acclimating it. I don't know how it's going to react. That doesn't mean it's okay.
Right.
So just the stress of worrying about that kind of stuff constantly.
Well, and we worried about the stability of the RV full time with like the temperature. If we were both gone and something happened to the power, how are the dogs?
Well, and that brings up a good point. Internet and all of that stuff, I mean, quite frankly, it's more expensive.
It is more expensive.
Because, I'm going to argue that house internet's gotten just as expensive as one of your options. But to have really, truly unbreakable, I will always have internet, you have to have a plethora of internet options.
Right.
Which means you're paying a plethora of prices.
Yes, exactly.
And it can equal up to $300, $400, even $500 a month if you really just can't be without internet. And then the technology side of it, stuff's always changing. And that's a good and bad thing. I mean, good thing because like there's lights and the studio setup's a lot more simple now because technology's changed. You used to have these huge lights, now we have little panels. But, in that space, it gets a little ridiculous sometimes because something's always changing. It gets updated, and your control center now doesn't work all of a sudden. It's like really that kind of stuff. So, okay. So with that. The quick answer is there's really no one size fits all.
Absolutely not. But that's the beauty of it.
Right. And I think you just have to go through and you and whoever else is involved in making this decision to buy an RV full-time or part-time in that RV, just know that if RVing is RVing, and I think that's the important part. There's such an emphasis on, I have to be a full-time RVer to be a content creator. No, you don't.
No, absolutely
not. And Wandering Weekends is a great example of that. We don't know them personally, but he's built a very successful channel, and yes, they travel, but in their RV.
Hey.
Travel trailer, there it is.
Imagine that. Well, and I think we set out with the best of intentions. We had some very positive outlook on selling the home base at the time and going full-time in an RV, and we were going to see the things and meet the people. And I think that we were really excited about that. And we really
did meet
had
the people.
a great mind.
All of the people.
We had a great mindset and the best of intentions. And then we just kind of learned a little bit about ourselves along the way.
Well, and the cool thing about the house and being RVers is that it doesn't change that we can still go see these people. And like our friends, we're scheduled to go see, like November, we're spending some time with Harold and Cindy. Well, I'm sure we'll see Phil and Stacy in the next few months. That's just kind of how that works out with their cycle.
Yeah, we're going to see a lot of people coming up here and see some new places soon too.
Well, and quite frankly, we can host our friends. No, we are not on Boondocker's welcome. But if we want, if some of our friends are running around town and they need a spot to park, we luckily have enough room here that we could park a big RV in next door. I don't know if we are not next door, but next to the house. It's our neighbor's problem. Let them deal with it.
Not quite.
Don't know that we could fit Todd and Sheila's. No, I'm curious. Come on, try it. But yeah. So is it right for you? Let us know.
Only you can answer that.
If you have questions, by all means, reach out to us. If you go to millersinmotion.com or rvshenanigans.com or rvshenaniganspodcast.com, all the places.
All of them.
There's actually a contact us form at the bottom. Feel free to shoot us an email. And I have one huge request before we let you go officially. For starters, if you've made it this far in the episode, about 30 minutes in, we are very appreciative.
Thank you.
But share it with a friend, just one.
Just one.
That helps get this out there a little bit. We can keep conversations like this going, and then hit that little follow button too. That just lets the YouTube and everybody else know. And I'm just rambling now.
You wonder how he got a channel where he talks more.
Yeah. We are out of practice. This is only 2 back from hiatus. Okay.
All right.
No, but hit that little follow button and then just stay in touch with us. You can follow us on Instagram and everything's on the website. So with that, see you guys next week. So